Hello, hello, good morning, everybody.
Hello.
I'm not hearing, I need to hear the energy in the room. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, salam alaikum. My name is Sally MOUSA, senior presenter at Forbes Middle East, and I'm super excited to be back here at the World Woman Davos Hub. We have an incredible session for you now. It is all about the art of influence. Influence today isn't defined by title or reach. It is defined by culture, by what we create, what we repeat, and what we normalize. Art, design, media, and sport are no longer sideline conversations to power and policy. They are shaping identity, aspiration, and how regions are understood on the global stage. So this session is very special because it's bringing together women whose influence stems not from one industry, but from many. But it has the same understanding, and that is that visibility carries responsibility, and that culture can move markets, it can shift perceptions, and it can open doors. I'm so excited to be joined here on the stage. From my left, I have NABILA ABULJADAYEL, Saudi artist and award-winning director and Goodwill ambassador for the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center. Welcome, NABILA.
Hello, welcome.
So good to have you, yes.
Thank you all. Thank you for attending.
Next, we have KHADIJA BASTAKI, Senior Vice President of Dubai Design District, or what we love to call D3, where creative ambition meets economic infrastructure. She is a power woman in the world of art and design. Please welcome KHADIJA. And last but not least, KARIMAN ABULJADAYEL, Saudi Olympian and Guinness World Record holder. Her influence extends well beyond the track and well beyond the sports field. Welcome, KARIMAN. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Super excited to have the three of you on this power panel. KHADIJA, if I can begin with you. Dubai Design District, for those who have not visited, I'd love for you to tell us a bit more about it and why within, not just Dubai, not just within the UAE, and in fact, the wider region, why it's become a catalyst for regional creative growth. And I'd love for you to also tell us how creative districts like D3, how they translate cultural momentum into real economic impact, particularly when we're talking about women-led businesses and emerging designers.
Okay. So first, culture is being shaped in a supportive environment. When I say supportive environment, that allows design, art, culture, fashion, architect, and also tech to coexist and flourish together. In the district, we have more than 1,100 creative businesses, over 20,000 professionals who's working in the district, and all of them actually meet and network for the opportunity to find a place to grow and excel. Second, we have a strong educational, I would say, schools that is embedded within the district. So that is part where this the talent pool is nourished in the Dubai Design District. So that we have Dubai Institute of Design and Innovation. We have FAD Fashion School. We have L'École School of Jewelry and Arts. That's by Van Cleef. And needless to say, we also have under the TCOM group where we belong, we have an interesting incubation setup that's called N5 Design, where startups find facility edge equipment, and they also have like-minded people, and where have access to mentorship, access to that. So this all is part of what is the ecosystem is provided. Needless to say that our rich calendar of tailored events, Dubai Design Week, Downtown Design, Fashion Weeks, all of them are opportunities for companies to excel and grow and, showcase and illustrate their products and services and absolutely experiences to other people. And we also work closely internationally with partnerships where we support exchange of talents between us, the rest of the world, where we have partnership in place in Milan and UK. Then lastly, I would say such an ecosystem or tailored ecosystem for creatives is really crucial, especially for women, because women naturally in design leading these studios and creativity. So the district provides them with visibility, community, and a safe place to test ideas and turn these ideas to successful product or services at the end.
It is an amazing ecosystem, particularly for people who haven't been there, who haven't seen it. I mean, you have the likes of Vogue Arabia that are also placed there, right? So, you understand that this is the place to come for design, for art, for fashion. It is right there, as you say, year round, and it is on all kinds of different levels. Isn't it interesting, though, that when we try and think of the most famous designers, most of them are men? But this is a place that definitely nurtures the talents of up-and-coming emerging designers, and particularly for women as well. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Thank you for that, Khadija. Nabila, I'd love to come to you. It's quite different what each of you does, but I feel like this weaves in so beautifully because your work, it bridges art, film, and humanitarian advocacy as well. Storytelling is so critical here. How can storytelling through media reshape the perceptions of women in our region, in the Middle East? You're from Saudi Arabia. Khadija is from the UAE. Of course, KARIMAN, Saudi Arabia as well. How can it change the perceptions of women in the region? And how do you see it influencing global conversations as well around identity, leadership, and social responsibility?
Thank you for having me. My name is NABILA ABULJADAYEL, and as my colleague Sally MOUSA mentioned, that I'm an artist, producer, director, and Goodwill ambassador for King Salman Relief Center and a co-founder of Soraya Productions. I've noticed through my work with art that art is therapy. And through my work as a Goodwill ambassador, the creativity and art usually turns survival into expression, and expression into healing. So there's a lot to be unfolded when you create art. It's not just a medium that is based on beauty, but art is a bridge for voices. When language fails, art speaks. And I had my short animated film qualified for the race for the Oscars in 2024. And that film made the first entry as a Saudi short animated film to be considered for the Oscars. And I was when I made that film, because it is co-directed and co-produced by my mother and I, it is made by women and funded by women. And it changed the perception of how women could tell their stories, whether through film or art. And usually our stories are told by someone else, but we should tell our stories to avoid stereotypes and to avoid misconception. So we have to say our stories, and because only us could tell our truth.
Absolutely. What did that mean for you when you had your film nominated for an Oscar? What did that mean to you? What did that mean for representation for other Saudi young women, not even just for Saudi young women, Arab women as well? This is something I know as an Arab and Muslim woman who grew up in Australia. The amount of destructive stereotypes that you have to live with, that you have to overcome day after day in your life is extraordinary. So for you to make that kind of an achievement, that is not a small thing. That is much bigger than just making a film.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your kind words. My film wasn't nominated, but entered the qualification race.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the final 5 nominations, but the entry itself was an achievement. And later it was inducted into the Academy Archive. And our short animation was about Mecca. And it was an Islamic story about the cleaner of Mecca when the Grand Mosque of Mecca closed its doors during COVID. The ones who were there were the cleaners. And they closed its doors because to prevent the spread of coronavirus back in 2020. So it was a story that is deeply rooted in our tradition and heritage. So it traveled the world. And storytelling, the foundational stone of storytelling is empathy. Yes. And it gives you the opportunity to live someone else's story and to see how they lived it. And and it just meant a lot to me because I got to do this project with my family, and KARIMAN was a creative advisor as well, and my sister Salwa Abuljadayeil, who is back home in Saudi Arabia. And it is a personal story because it is co-directed and co-produced with my mother Thuraya Shehri and I. So self-funded by our production company Thuraya للإنتاج الفني, Thuraya Productions. So it just means a lot that we got to do this as a family first and foremost. And then I'm glad that my story traveled further than the borders of my region.
Incredible. Well, we're going to come to you now, KARIMAN, as well. Clearly multi-talented, a very multi-talented family right here. And I love this story because for you, also as an elite athlete, you're an Olympian, but also a public role model. How are you using your platform to challenge those stereotypes and to inspire young women to pursue excellence, not just in sport, but in fields that are traditionally dominated by men as well?
Well, thank you so much. And I love what KHADIJA and NABILA said about representation, and what's most important is also family support as well. So for me, I use my platform to redefine what is possible and redefine what is possible for Saudi and women in my region. When I know it's glamorous to say I'm an Olympian or I'm a Guinness World Record holder, but when I started, it wasn't like that. It was really humble beginnings. And so I represented Saudi Arabia in Rio 2016 Olympics as its first female sprinter in the 100 meters. And several years back, I started by just running in my own house in Riyadh. I started in the house. We had a corridor, and I just decided I wanted to run over there because we didn't have any tracks available for women outside of my house. And honestly, it was just hot outside. So I started running there. And I started running because I loved running. And I really wanted to play sports. And that's the only space I had.
What inspired you? Because sport isn't, for women, for girls and women, isn't something that is part of the culture.
No,
unfortunately. So what is it that inspired you, that put that in you in the first place?
Because every time I watch sports, I feel it's the best, it pushes you to be the best version of yourself. And I wanted to try that. And I never believed that sports was just only for men. It's dominated by men because they were encouraged to play sports and be active early in their lives. But every woman has a right to play. So if I had a space of 10, 20 meters of running every day, then I'll take it. And I also, after running, I became a rower, and I co-founded the Saudi Rowing Federation. And also now I'm currently a cross-country skier as well. And I don't want to say how I'm not going to start with skiing and rowing because they were really hard, like beginnings. You fall, you hit a tree, and but now I'm a Guinness World Record holder. Your beginnings, they don't define you. but the most important part is that you started. That is the most important part. And then you will find your way along your path, and you might become an Olympian or anything else. And actually, there's a statistics which I asked Khadija about, and it's actually true, that says more than 90% of women in C-suite positions like CEO or CFO actually took sports and parts of any parts of their life. And I asked Khadija, and she said, yeah, that's true, because she is a vice president, so it's a true statistics. And I feel if women are healthy and are active in life, that we're going to have a thriving community, because women are the backbone of any society.
What kind of stories have you heard? After going to the Olympics, doing what you do, what kind of stories have you heard from other young women about your participation and how it's inspired them?
Oh, I heard so many stories. Actually, I have one of my relatives who took the same discipline and same sport. And till now, 10 years later, she is still active. And she is part of the team, and she still competes till today, just because she saw me running in the Olympics. And also, you have to be here. It's not just about performance. You have to be, in Davos, talking about your experience, be on national television, because you have to have your voice heard and share your experiences. Because I want to normalize achievements, but I also want to normalize, losses. Because my losses in sports, how I lost, it's what defined me. Because the challenges, they changed you, and if the hardest thing to do is to lose in sports. So keep talking about it. And another example is I was on national television a few months ago, and I briefly mentioned that I have a home gym in my house. Now I have a home gym in my house. And then later on, I had a friend who is also a mother who called me and said, your interview inspired me. And because she was a mother, she used to go to commercial gyms before she became a mother, but now she couldn't. But then when she heard me mention home gym, she actually now has a home gym, and she is training along with her kids. So these kind of stories tells you how representation and having your voice heard matters.
It's absolutely major. It's incredible, because when you see someone else do it, you go, I can do it too. Yes. You need to see it in order to be it. And it's amazing. It's wonderful, wonderful to hear that. Khadija, I'd love to come back to you and ask you about the Middle East, as it plays a growing role in shaping the global creative narratives. What are you looking at in terms of government strategies, in terms of partnerships and policy, innovations? Which ones have been the most effective in creating, in sustaining this inclusive creative ecosystem?
Sure. First of all, the UAE leadership places an important focus on the creative economy as a growth pillar to sustain one of the economic driver in the Emirates. Second, I would say the strategies are in place to support the creative ecosystem. That is the Dubai Economic Agenda D33. Then we have the Dubai Design Sector strategies, that is for 2033. And these position creativity and design as a strategic growth of the city and the country. Second, I would say these ecosystems or these strategies enables the ecosystems. So there are enablers behind that. So then you have the regularity framework that is in place. Then the visa support, the incentives provided for startups and students that is aiming to be part of the design scene and landscape. Then we'll talk about the programming and mentorship that is provided through incubation, whether that is through Dubai Design District or the cultural authorities proactively endorsing the talents and that. Then there is the legislations framework to attract the pool of talents to the United Arab Emirates. These all are endorsement where it supports those tailored ecosystem that I would call focusing on design, creativity, and art.
It is fantastic to see that there is that level of support right across the board as well. Something that I would love to hear more about as well, though, is how art and design has influenced you in your life. What does it mean for you, the power of creativity? What does that mean to you?
Honestly, I'm a software engineer. So I started being in the tech world, and my dream job was to be part of the Silicon Valley at that time. And that was Dubai Internet City, and be part of one of those blue chip companies. So I joined IBM at that time. I think I was young and there was no guidance on really what do you want to do in life. But I didn't want to be a woman sitting behind the screens doing coding. Then I was like, I need to discover myself. And myself was, I need to be between the people, you know, negotiating and discovering the world. So my first job was around one of the economic zones in Dubai, where we bring foreign direct investment to Dubai. So most of my role was traveling to Africa and Asia and the US, focusing on oil and gas industry and machinery at that time. Then I think this is where my own passion, because I love design and I would understand art at that time, because understanding art at early stage where you're not in the field was also difficult, because artists are actually emotional when you see a piece of art and you say, is this really beautiful or not? Then this is where I came at the media sector for a while before joining Dubai Design District. And I discovered as a woman, I have a close heart with the designers who mainly I told you, dominated by women. They have art studio, jewelry designs. So being a woman, I started understanding female consumers and female artists and designers very well. So part of the business and corporate world, you still need to have that emotional attachments to the designers. And this came with experience and I would say being closer to them in the community.
This is the thing. This is art and design is about what moves us. And this is what moves economies as well. You know, and it's very clear why they've brought you in to look at creativity as infrastructure. It's not just a nice to have. No, this is essential to business, to economic growth and development, particularly in a place like the UAE and particularly in a place like Dubai. Nabila, I want to come to you because in your role as a Goodwill ambassador, how do you balance creative expression with purpose-driven impact? And what advice would you give women who are using art as a platform for social change?
First, I'm very grateful for the support that I got in my home with my mother because she supported me and that gave me a push to be an artist and to consider art as a serious field. Because I always say we stand on the shoulders of the women who came before us, and that is my mother. Who pushed me to be the best version of myself. And she gave me the platform to succeed. So find your support system. And what I do as a Goodwill ambassador, I go to refugee camps and I teach children or refugee children art. And I do art sessions since 2018 in Zaatari refugee camp in Jordan. So I teach Syrian refugee art students, and I've noticed that sometimes they can't express their ideas and opinions, so they use art. So art was their tool and language, and I actually brought something with me. It is. Wait a second.
Let me hold that for you. I'll hold that. Thank you.
So this is.
You can hold it up. I'll hold this for you.
Okay. No, it's okay. So this is a jersey that is completely hand-drawn by my student, Mohammed Al-Ghazawi. I will hold it, my dear. And as you can notice that it is a jersey that is completely done from scratch, and Cristiano Ronaldo actually signed it. And this is his signature. And what I loved about it is that Mohammed Al-Ghazawi, one of my students at the Zatri refugee camp, created his own Nasser jersey because he didn't own one. And it really moved me because I'm his teacher. And when I taught him art, I never knew that he would teach me in return. I thought I would teach them, and I learned a lot from them. Their resilience, their willpower, and just the simplicity to express yourself. And this is his jersey, and I took this jersey or this shirt to Al Nassr Football Club and took it to Cristiano Ronaldo, and he actually signed it. And
How old is he? How old is Mohammed?
He's now 16, and that was in 2024. So, yeah, and this is his signature.
So powerful. Oh my God, I want to cry.
And also, I've noticed that when I first started, I'll put it just a second. I've noticed that when I taught my students at first at the refugee camp, they wouldn't sign their names. And I told them why. They said, would it matter to have our names? And I told them that, no, of course, everyone matters. And we're all here equal. So at the end of the sessions, I always notice that at the end of my sessions that they would sign actually their names in front of the canvas and behind the canvas because they're proud that they did this, and they're proud that they're here. And we're all equal, and art just tells us that it's a universal language, and it makes our stories more global. And Habibti.
I'm good.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
What you're talking about is fundamental. I mean, you know, art, people talk about, art, and oftentimes you see art and design are the first things to get cut when there are funding cuts in education systems. But actually you can see the power of art. Like you said, it is healing. The ability, it gives you the ability to express when words are not enough. You don't have the words to say what you want to say.
Exactly, and I remember in one of my sessions, a group of students, we had a session, and I gave them a blank piece of canvas, and the group wanted to paint on one canvas. They all, without speaking to each other, drew a house. That is a home. So it speaks. This is like you don't need need words.
Wow.
You can understand what they mean.
You can understand what they mean, but it also brings you closer to them. Their experience, we will never understand what they have been through, but we understand that we are alike.
Yes.
And we can empathize with each other when we see that, when we see their art, we see what they express. We understand the oneness of humanity.
Yes.
In that way. The power of it is so profound. It is truly, truly incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm sorry.
No, my gosh. It's important. It's important. We need to feel that. We need to feel that. I don't know if you all agree with me, but we need to feel that. KARIMAN, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We need to feel it and understand the power of it. Sport, of course, is a powerful form of storytelling. How can athletes collaborate with media, with fashion and the arts to amplify positive narratives around women's empowerment and cultural transformation?
I mean, I believe in a world where you can be anything, just be yourself. It's just be authentic. And my story towards the Olympics taught me a lot about who I am and where I come from. And I now realize in the world of sports that, for instance, when I wanted to represent Saudi Arabia, I decided that I wanted to be inclusive. I want to represent every Saudi girl while I run in the Olympics, because I'll be the first sprinter to represent Saudi Arabia. So how do I do that? I wanted to run with a hijabi outfit. And I realized not a single performance store or any sports brand had a hijabi outfit.
This was in 2016.
That was in 2016, and I didn't have, imagine 10 years ago, we didn't have anything. So what I did is I actually had to be innovative and I had to be creative. And we were in Portland, Oregon, me, my sister and I, along with our mother, and we were at the Nike headquarters. And we were looking around for something that resembles something like a hijab. And we found something in the men's section. It was an NFL layer or something like that. And I said, wait, that looks like a hijabi. I'm going to wear that in the Olympics. And I just love how Saudi Arabia gave me the opportunity to wear what I want. And they said, it's your choice to wear what you want. And I wore the Nike hijab outfit at the Olympics. And actually, after the Olympics, I presented this hijabi outfit to the Olympic Museum in Lausanne, Switzerland, as a representation, as a symbol of change and representation. And Nike hijab line didn't yet launched. And the Nike team in Dubai actually contacted me, and I went to Dubai, and they said, how did you think of that? And I told them, because, you know, how did you not think of that? You had hijabi athletes for a long time ago. So sometimes creativity comes from necessity. And I'm very happy that right now we have all the sports brands right now from Nike, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour, all have a hijabi line.
Modest wear.
Modest outdoor performance wear in their stores.
Absolutely, because even if you don't wear hijab, sometimes you want to just be modest.
Exactly.
And this is it's become a movement. It has become absolutely incredible, for sure. I mean, you know, it's beyond fashion. It is about being inclusive. You know, we hear about women's sports teams, you know, the Iranian women's football team that were banned from playing, you know, and others because they wanted to wear hijab and they wouldn't let them. And this has happened across the board. And we're still fighting.
We are still fighting, but the most important thing is you sitting down with those brands. Like I sat down with Nike, and I told them, and I discussed why it's important to have hijab and how will it make me feel and will make other hijabi athletes feel. And not long ago, after that meeting, they actually launched the Nike hijab.
Incredible. I remember that campaign.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking. Groundbreaking. Amazing. We're going to do one final quick round. So this is for all of you. How can women-led creativity across art, sport, fashion, and media, how can it accelerate gender equality while also driving economic opportunity and reshaping how the Middle East is perceived on the global stage? And I'm glad we're here in Davos, because this is really bringing some of the most extraordinary stories of women from our region to the world. I'd love to start with you, Nabila.
I think first you have to be yourself. Just be yourself and...
Don't be afraid to be yourself.
Yes, don't be afraid. And to be human. I mean, like, we're in Davos during the World Economic Forum, and I've noticed, have you noticed the robots walking on the promenade? So we saw yesterday a couple of robots walking, and there was a woman who said, I wish it would do my cooking. And, and my mother wanted to reply to her, it would be tasteless. Why? Because, yes, but she passed by. We didn't tell her, but it reminded me of a story that my mother used to tell us when we were children. It is of Uncle Scrooge. And Uncle Scrooge went to his aunt, who used to make amazing pies, and everybody loved them. And so they bought her beloved pies, and it was a successful recipe. So he wanted to imitate that, and he took the recipe and just thought of mass-producing the pies, and he did it through machines. But it never sold. It never sold. So they didn't buy the pies, and he told his aunt what happened. So his aunt said a sentence. It lacked the human touch. And I think in a world that is full of technology, full of AI, be human first. That's it.
Be human first. I love that so much, because, you know, when we talk about art and design, it is about our creations, the soul's creation. You know, it's what we are making. And you can see that when something is created by AI, we're craving that, you know, and we call it nifis. It's like there's
Nefs, I wanted to say that.
There's a word in Arabic, like,
Yeah.
you know, you put your nafs into the
Yes.
food that you make because it's literally coming from your soul, your love.
Exactly.
That is a literal ingredient
Exactly.
into the food. That's why your mother's food always tastes better than
Yes.
anyone else's.
No one could replicate your mother's food.
Khadija.
I think adding to this is a young audience is increasingly demanding authenticity and inclusion in our world, and women-led creative businesses and brands from the Middle East can build a strong global communities, and providing the gender equal, culturally rooted creativity that everyone is hungry to find. And this is, I call it, a competitive edge for everyone to get.
I agree. I agree. Who here has been to Dubai, been to the UAE? Hands up. Oh, that's not enough. No. We need all of you to come and to see what Khadija's talking about. It is very unique. It is an incredible energy. And we have this in Saudi as well. Like this is something that is in the region. It's in the DNA. It's in the blood. And it's something to really be experienced. It's amazing. It's magic. Yeah. Thank you. KARIMAN.
Just want to say that empowered women empower other women. So be empowered and share your experiences with your fellow colleagues. And you know, in this room right now, throughout this week, the amount of stories that I've heard made me really excited about our future. Because I know the moment like we are here sitting and talking about our challenges and our wins and our losses, you know, it helps move the conversation even further. And as long as we're talking about it, as long as we're showing up, even though we might not think it's perfect, but at least as you're showing up right now, this is what makes a difference.
One of the most important things I think that you've said and that has been shared here is don't just be out there doing this amazing work. Tell your story. Yeah. Tell your story, because other women, like we're doing here, are going to be inspired by it. Show of hands, who's been inspired by this amazing panel here?
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our incredible speakers.
Thank you, Sally.
NABILA, KHADIJA, and KARIMAN.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you.